So without further ado, what I'm going to do is share my screen with you. So what you'll see is the presentation as it starts to load, and I'm going to introduce Cindy Cunningham. Cindy is our Sustainability Engagement Officer here at Macquarie University, and she's going to be running the show for you today.
Thank you, Leanne. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to this webinar on staff engagement, which has been an important focus of Macquarie University's sustainability program. It is a well-known fact that the real key to fundamental change towards sustainability is the engagement and active participation of staff. The establishment of the Sustainability Representative Network at Macquarie has enabled us to better engage with staff on campus and to also open up communication channels regarding sustainability matters. The idea of establishing a champion network is not new, with many campuses both in Australia and abroad having sustainability networks or green teams. Today, I will share about Macquarie's experience with its network, which commenced nearly 3 years ago, and will cover some of the achievements and the challenges experienced to date. With full support from the Vice-Chancellor and the Director of Human Resources, the SRN was launched at the beginning of 2010. The voluntary role is recognised in annual performance and development reviews of representatives, and with this recognition, staff are able to attend quarterly workshops and implement initiatives in their workplace. The network now has around 65 members from various areas of the university who are dedicated and enthusiastic about being involved in discussions and actions to make a difference in their department. Currently, the majority of staff members are from professional departments with only a few academics represented. Essentially, the role of SRN members is to raise awareness about sustainability matters to fellow staff, informally and formally at department meetings, to be the first point of contact for their colleagues on sustainability, to facilitate two-way communication between their department and us, the Macquarie Sustainability team, to champion sustainability and also encourage colleagues to embrace more sustainable practices. The Macquarie Sustainability team supports SRN members in a number of ways, including training, resources, advice and communications. Our quarterly meetings are used as the primary training and communication opportunity for the SRN. We have delivered training workshops on sustainable procurement and communication, change management and engagement. This year, we worked with our HR training area to develop and deliver 2 new training modules covering effective communication techniques and influencing stakeholders to further equip our SRN members with skills in this area. The workshops were well received and we intend to roll these out to new reps next year. One of our workshops last year also focused on our Macquarie University Travel Action Plan. At this workshop, SRN members worked in groups to identify strategies to increase the use of sustainable transport modes amongst staff members. The outcome was that a total of 25 actions put forward by the SRN were subsequently incorporated into the draft travel plan, which is a great outcome. At our quarterly workshops, SRN members also share their ideas, their experience in what works and what doesn't, which is a great source of motivation and encouragement for members. And to make everyone happy, we provide a fabulous yummy lunch at the end of the workshop, which everyone enjoys. In addition to the face-to-face communications, we have our sustainability website. This year, our website was relaunched with more up-to-date information and resources to assist SRN members in their role. And we're just bringing up the actual part of our website which focuses on the SRN. And in this area, we have all our workshop minutes and our agendas, also all our lists of representatives across campus, and also we try to keep up to date the area on the sustainability initiatives which departments are implementing across campus so we can share our lessons and learnings with one another. So please feel free to go into that at a later point. Based on feedback from representatives, we developed a new dedicated newsletter for SRN members at the beginning of 2011, and this newsletter is used by SRN members to provide updates at their department meetings, and also sometimes members forward it in part or whole to members of their department. We also have our seasonal sustainability newsletter called Vitality, which is also distributed to both staff and students across campus.
my
4 years ago, my colleague Belinda Bean developed the Department Sustainability Challenge, which has been an effective and fun way to engage staff in sustainability across campus. Running over an 8-week period, departments earn stars for completing actions across challenge categories, and these vary from year to year, but they can include energy and emissions, water, participation, governance, transport, food, which is always popular, community volunteering and purchasing. All actions are contained within a scorecard, which is linked to a live leaderboard on the website. Our SRM members often take up the role of challenge coordinators for their department and get their teams involved. Once departments reach a certain number of stars, they are incentivised with rewards, as well as overall prizes at the awards night for the winning departments and faculty. Macquarie's Department Sustainability Challenge is the subject of a webinar in the new year. So if you're keen to hear more, please tune in then. A sustainability grants program was also established in 2011 to provide funding to assist SRM members implement new initiatives. A range of small projects have been funded, and some which spring to mind include the establishment of a herb and vegetable garden for use in the university's central kitchen, purchasing of chooks at one of our childcare centres on campus, which provides an educational opportunity and a source of eggs for children's meals, the purchase of reusable crockery and cutlery for faculty functions, to reduce disposables going to landfill, and a Greening the Office initiative where all staff in the department got their hands dirty to pot up plants for the office to improve indoor air quality and office amenity. Through these small actions, SRM members have been able to engage with fellow staff to introduce new initiatives which make a positive difference towards sustainability at Macquarie.
I'm just going to step in there, Cindy. We've had a question from Matt with regards to the Department Sustainability Challenge. He's wondering what sort of rewards we give out for departments.
Sure. Hello. In terms of awards, when they reach a certain level, we give things out like fair trade coffee. And as they go up the ladder, so to speak, we also provide fair trade hampers. And if they go really well, this year we also gave out sponsorship animal packages through Taronga Zoo. And what else was there?
Not the plants. I think that was pretty much it this year, wasn't it? And the award.
And then at the awards at the end, which involves beautiful organic wine, and sometimes we provide money towards Christmas parties and that kind of thing.
Hopefully that's answered your question, Matt. If there's anything else, please type it in and we'll get to that as well. But for now, I'll hand back to Cindy to continue.
Thank you. To learn more about what is happening in sustainability within the tertiary sector, we invite SRN members to submit an application form to attend the annual ACTS conference. Applications are reviewed independently, and the successful applicant has their flights, accommodation and conference fees funded by the Macquarie Sustainability Department. This is an opportunity to further extend the professional development, knowledge and capacity of an SRN member. And here pictured is Carleen Kavan from the Faculty of Arts, who attended the ACTS conference, and she gained a lot from this and took back her learnings to her faculty.
Sorry, Cindy, we've just had another question, and I apologise if I say your name wrong, Zulfika. That's okay for joining late. We understand everyone can't get in on time. The grant that Cindy's referring to is the SRN grant. It's a Macquarie funded scheme. So Macquarie Sustainability puts money into our budget on a yearly basis to fund local initiatives at Macquarie. Sorry, Cindy, back to you.
Thank you. At the end of last year, we conducted an evaluation survey to gain feedback from our members and seek suggestions for improvement, and we're going to do that again this year. SRN members were requested to complete a mid and end of year progress report on the sustainability actions they have undertaken, so we can try and capture what is happening across campus to share initiatives amongst departments rather than reinventing the wheel as such. In addition, we ask SRM members to flag any questions they have and raise any challenges faced so we can be of assistance if required. We have provided a report template online to simplify the reporting process back to us. The primary barrier that SRM members face is time constraints, and sometimes they have mentioned a lack of support from their supervisor. And on this slide, we can see some of the positive feedback we have received from our representatives. The key message being that the network itself provides an important platform to share, motivate and encourage each other in their workplace sustainability endeavours.
We're just going to take a break. I just want to make sure that everyone has an opportunity to ask any questions that they have. So if you do have any questions on anything Cindy's spoken about so far, please use that questions functionality within the control panel, and we'll get to that. Otherwise, we'll move on. But I just like to always pause and give people the opportunity to ask a question, as Matt and Zulfikar already have taken advantage of. So we'll assume everything's good so far, Cindy.
Okay.
And we'll continue on.
To promote the network and its achievements, a highlights report has been prepared for the past 2 years, and these reports are on our website. In addition to projects implemented, the report seeks to profile some of our staff champions. The SRM members who demonstrate an outstanding contribution within their department receive a Red Balloon Voucher award at the end of the year, which is of course well received. So I'm sure a lot of you probably want me to focus on the successes and the challenges aspect of establishing a network. Overall, the SRN has gone from strength to strength and has gained momentum over the last 3 years. The SRN has provided Macquarie with a platform and opportunity to better engage with staff from various departments. The network has also facilitated cross-departmental sharing and awareness on workplace sustainability, which is starting to foster a sustainability culture amongst staff. Some SRN members have had great success within their workplace in introducing new practices to their staff. For example, one SRN member in one of the faculty supported staff in the change process in switching from single-use batteries to rechargeable batteries, which has significantly reduced the number of batteries being sent to landfill from that faculty. This SRN champion also implemented recently a stationary drive and reuse system, which also involved the assistance of students from the university's Student Sustainability Network. The various initiatives which have been put into place by SRM members to raise awareness, improve recycling, conserve energy, support community groups, and also to procure more eco-friendly alternatives demonstrates the leadership of REPS, which is collectively contributing to our vision for sustainability at Macquarie University.
I've just seen that Paul has got a question. Does it relate at all to the Life Index platform that Macquarie is using? Do all participants of the staff engagement have access to it and use it? That's a really good question, Paula. And yes, we are using the Life Index platform as our guideline and strategy for staff engagement and how we fulfill our requirements within each of those cells that are in the staff engagement area. But not everyone has access to it or uses it. So Cindy is the conduit between the SRN, the representative network, and Life. So she is the one that has access to the staff engagement aspect of the Life Index platform. For those who aren't familiar with what I'm talking about, the Life Index is the performance improvement system that we've co-developed with EAUC that's available. You can get information through the ACTS website about it, but it's basically a holistic strategy for assisting in rolling out sustainability across campuses, and that's what Paula's referring to. If that doesn't clarify or answer your question, Paula, please feel free to let me know, and I can always unmute you and we can have a conversation so you can get better clarification. But for now, I'll hand back over to Cindy.
As is the case with all program implementation, we've experienced some challenges, and one of them is staff turnover. We encourage representatives who are leaving the university to seek fellow staff to take over their role. University staff are busy and time poor, so we endeavour to give plenty of notice when we have our quarterly meetings. And staff are encouraged to attend for an hour or so if they cannot commit to the whole entire time. So we basically try to be as flexible as possible. Like many other organisations, the university is currently undergoing structural change and budgetary pressures, which does make it a little difficult to attract new participants as staff are preoccupied with their core functions and responsibilities. Other challenges include sustaining the momentum between quarterly meetings and representatives not following through on some of their planned sustainability actions for the year. Next year, we will tweak the previously mentioned communication and stakeholder management training modules and roll them out to our new reps, which come on board. Also, based on suggestions from our members, we will be delivering bi-monthly campaigns in 2013 on various sustainability themes, which will basically involve a poster series and email campaign involving targeted messages, tips, case studies, challenges, and actions for implementation. I am also going to start attending HR inductions of new staff to promote how staff can get involved with sustainability on campus, which will also provide an opportunity to promote the sustainability network. We would also like to develop more resources for reps in terms of facts and figures and sustainability lists to assist reps with backing up their initiatives. I also tend to try and touch base more regularly with reps, whether that be face-to-face or via email, to offer my support and assistance if they're having any struggles and just to facilitate further initiatives.
So I just want to go back one slide. So a lot of the challenges that Cindy's mentioned here, we've really sat down and thought about how we could address those, and that's why Cindy's come up with those ideas for moving forward for 2013. And I think one of the key things for 2013 will be the bi-monthly themes that she's mentioned. I might get Cindy to talk about that a bit more, just so that everyone understands why we think it'll address some of the challenges that we have, because I know when I've sat in on the meetings, that a lot of the queries or concerns that come back from SRO members is, what do we keep saying? What message do we keep sending? So we came up with the idea of the bi-monthly focus on the basis of that. Cindy, do you want to just elaborate on that a little bit more?
Sure. So as I mentioned before with our department challenge, people really enjoy that. It's fun, it's engaging, there's actions that they can work towards, and people are really attentive at trying to, address some of these actions and get involved. But during the other times of the year, some people feel a bit of a struggle. What am I doing? What should I be doing next? And all that kind of thing. And also some people feel that they'd like to be working towards other things that other people across campus are doing. So other universities overseas, and I think some in Australia, have initiated monthly or bi-monthly themes, and that will give people some food for thought during their months and then other opportunities to engage with their staff. So for example, next year we'll have different themes. One will be focused on giving back, and that will be promoting our community volunteering leave and other opportunities. We're also going to have one on food, which will be talking about accessing local organic markets, for example, possibly having meatless Mondays in their workplace or having shared lunches as such. And we'll also be focusing on some of the same kind of topics, such as, focusing on not using bottled water but tap water and the benefits of that and that kind of thing.
Yeah, because what we thought was, if we bring people together with a common bi-monthly message and communication, it's going to be the same consistent message across the campus. So the SRN members are going to be sending the same message at the same time, which will hopefully have more of an impact to what we're trying to achieve. Paul has just asked the questions. What's total allocated FTE for the program? Does Cindy work full time just on this? And she's trying to work out, how I guess it will impact for them in the scale and resources required. So Cindy, maybe you could have a bit more information about your role and how much time you actually spend on SRN.
Okay, so I'm part-time, Paula. I work 2.5 days a week in this role, and part of my role is also school outreach, but I'd probably spend maybe 1.5 up to 2 days, just depending on the time of year when the quarterly meetings are coming up on this initiative.
Yeah, so Cindy's role was pretty much recreated to become the owner of the SRN program and a couple of other things. It's not the only thing that Cindy does, but we do use Cindy predominantly to engage our staff. We were trying to do it with a number of people and ad hoc, but we found that this was a better approach because it was more concentrated, so the SRN members felt like they were getting more support. We were able to better communicate and engage with the staff as well. So it's had more impact by having a resource allocated to it. And then Cindy has a budget as well, obviously for catering and the grants, and also to get an SRM member to the ACTS conference, and also keynote speaker type arrangements as well. So it's only a small budget plus Cindy's time that we've allocated to it. Now Linda's asked, could we have more details about how the SRN were recruited and the spread of reps across departments? Well, the SRN are basically recruited. Initially, what we did was we had a database of people who would contact us either with positive or negative feedback. So they were our first point of call. We went to them first of all and said, "We're going to develop this network. We'd really like you to be on it because you can actively engage in the conversation you're trying to have, whether that was positive or negative." So that allowed us to get an initial base. Then whenever we're contacted by staff who either have, again, a positive or a negative feedback for us, we offer them the opportunity to get more involved. And now I guess it's more word of mouth because we have SRN members across, their representation is pretty good across departments. We've got representatives in we've got 4 faculties, so we have representatives from all 4 faculties and most professional officers, but maybe you want to
We might actually just go to the website at this point, and we've got our list of representatives on there. So as Leanne said, we definitely have word of mouth. When people find out about the network, they might have friends in other departments or colleagues who they know are interested in sustainability. We've also tried to recruit people via our staff newsletter across campus, which is well read. And also each year in Department Sustainability Challenge, we always have a new action in there, if you like, about representation on our SRN. So we're just scrolling down here and we've got our colleges on campus all represented. So we have a rep from each residential college. We also have our childcare on campus represented and our major professional departments such as HR and our library and Macquarie University property, etc. We also have one business partner on campus who are quite actively involved, and that's Cochlear. And it's been great having them on board because although they're not essentially a part of the university structure, they also provide some insight into how they're addressing sustainability within their own business operations. And so as we scroll down, that's a lot of, and we've also got marketing, of course. So quite a broad range of different people, which it's great to have different people because they bring different things, also different understandings and learnings and insights from their department.
So not every single department is represented on campus, but we have a fairly good coverage, and obviously we're trying to increase that representation anyway. It'd be nice to have 2 people in each department, so that at least so they can support each other, and it's not just solely on one person. And then you set succession planning as well. So a good representation, but not complete as yet. And Matt's asked the question, how did you find your office representatives at the start of the program? I think I probably explained that when I answered Yunda's question. It was based on our database that we already had existing, and those people who've been in contact with us for either positive or negative feedback, they were our first point of call to see whether they wanted to be in the network. But those people who are interested in sustainability usually seek you out one way or another. And as soon as we bring up SRN, most of them are quite happy to be involved. We also use the Department Sustainability Challenge now. We did that last year as a avenue to try and get more representatives so that they could, basically a department could earn points for having nominated SRN members to come and join the network. So it built us up a bigger database again to draw from to get representation.
That's right. And I should add that when I do get contacted from people, I always try and make sure I meet up with them face to face quite soon after they've expressed an interest. So I'll go to their office and I'll basically spend about 40 minutes or so with them, providing an overview of the network and what's involved in the role. So they feel that I have followed them up pretty quickly, and also like to meet them before they actually are invited to the next quarterly meeting. So they feel that they don't come in cold to the meeting as such.
And I think Cindy attending all the induction mornings on Monday. Every Monday we have an induction morning, and I think Cindy joining in that process and being a person that they'll all get to meet would be very useful for us. So Cindy will go to HR at the designated time. She'll introduce herself, a very quick overview about sustainability, and if they want to get involved, they can contact us and we can put them on the SRN, or alternatively, at least they know we're there and what we're about. So that's going to be a really good way for us to get in contact with new staff that come on as well. Just get back to here, Cindy, sorry.
That's fine, thank you. So basically, that is the network. in a nutshell. Thank you so much for listening today. Here are my contact details. So if you think of something else post the webinar, please do either send me an email or phone me up and I can discuss whatever you'd like to.
Yeah, so I think the key thing that Cindy's mentioned is the fact that we provide the training and development for the SRN members. That's been really key for them because the topics that we do training and development on are applicable across their professional career, not just specifically to sustainability. And we do that quite strategically so that we attract more people along. But the programs that we had this year on effective communication and influence were very good and very well attended because, as you can see, it's good for sustainability, but it's good for your professional career overall. So that's probably one of the biggest draw cards is our training packages that we offer, plus our beautiful food that we offer during our quarterly meetings. And for them to have a platform to share and just express their concerns or their frustrations, that's also been really powerful. So having those quarterly meetings where they all get to talk to each other and, someone will bring up an issue that they're having and someone else go, yeah, that's right, and how have you dealt with that? So they get to talk about it themselves as well, amongst themselves. So Alex has put something in the questions area. You mentioned you'd run a workshop developing strategies for encouraging staff to undertake more sustainable transport methods. Can you please elaborate on this and some of the strategies that they came up with?
Hi. Okay, we're rewinding the memory back a little bit. We actually had our sustainability transport officer facilitate that workshop. So he stepped everybody through at that meeting some of the sorts of ideas around the whole issue about transport to Macquarie University. He also discussed some of the current modes of transport to the uni. And so basically I've got all my minutes on the website. That's probably something that might assist in understanding how we approached it and also some of the responses to the actual the workshop. So it might be easier if we refer back to that because I just can't remember all the ideas offhand.
Oh, yeah, so I'll go to the website and see what we can come up with. Sorry, everybody. Just got to do a bit of a shuffle. This is the beauty of having everything online as well, is that we can just go down and find what it is that this one here.
And there's a presentation there which Adrian, our officer, presented, and in the minutes here it discusses how we approach the whole topic of sustainable transport at Macquarie University.
Sorry, we're just going to it there.
We're just scrolling down. So Adrian presented on the travel plan itself, as I mentioned. He discussed the implications of infrastructure and campus growth for our future. And if we just scroll down a bit more, these are some of the things that so we had actual travel plan objectives, which had already been bedded down before coming to the meeting. And surrounding these objectives, people worked in groups to come up with specific ideas and proposals. And as you can see from the table, they're all listed on the right-hand side in terms of incentives, the non-car travel mode. And it was a really good discussion. And like I said previously, these went back to the Macquarie University Property Office and they looked at them further, and a lot of them were actually incorporated into the final Transport Action Plan.
And as Cindy said, this is actually all online, Alex, so if you wanted to go in and have a better look at what they came back with, you're quite welcome to do that. It's freely available on the website. Paul has asked, are the training modules available as well through normal HR training at the uni, or is the uni's environmental training only through the SRN?
At this stage, the environmental training is only available through the SRN network. So there isn't any specific environmental training as such which people can access through the normal HR training schedule.
Through the induction modules.
That's through. Would you like to talk about
that? Every new member of staff that comes onto the campus needs to undertake 2 sustainability training modules as part of their induction and onboarding process. So that's run through HR. We've developed the modules and they're all online, and HR manages that system for us and makes sure that it's ticked off the checklist. But the training that we've offered to date to SRN is not specifically focused on environmental. It's more on the soft skills, and a lot of the stuff that we have done, particularly with HR, is offered as a longer course through HR to all staff, but it's nothing other than the online training modules, we're not doing specific environmental training with the SRN, except the sustainable procurement one. That was obviously more focused specific on sustainability. Now, Lena's also asked a question. Do you suggest offering small grants like the $500 or larger ones? In terms of number of grants you need to manage for the outcomes, how much time does it take to manage 16 small grants? Good question.
Yes, it is a good question, because I do know that some universities offer quite large grants, and that might attract different people across campus who may not be actually on the network, but these small grants are only opened up for SRM members as such. In terms of how much time does it take, it depends on the person who has initiated the grant. With some people, I actually sit down with them and basically help them fill out their application. They might have the idea, but they don't have the time to fill it out, so I'll do that. And some people are quite self-sufficient. They're quite capable of filling in their grant applications and running with it. So it just basically depends on who is submitting the application. But even if people who do flag they'd like to do something, I always follow them up, because I think they've got a great idea, but often they just don't have the time to kind of get it off the ground as such.
As you can see on the screen, we have the grant scheme up on the website as well. So there's guidelines, the application form, it's all there for SRN members to access anytime they like. But it is useful if Cindy just follows them up either with a phone call or a face-to-face meeting, just to make sure they've got their head around what it is they actually want to do and make sure it's worthwhile. So for us, the small grants has worked really well to do small things that have had a lot of impact. I don't know, we're probably not going to be able to put a lot more towards the grant scheme at this stage anyway. So I think the small one has worked for us, but it may be different depending on your own context. Craig has asked what sort of budget is required for the program. That's a good question. So if you think about Cindy's time, we have her in, she works 2 days a week, as she said, and probably a good majority of that is based on keeping the SRN going and developing resources and support and contacting them. Not always, I mean, there's peaks and troughs of how much time Cindy will spend on it. Plus we have the $5,000 for the small grants, and then we have some money set aside for catering for the quarterly meetings that we have. So the 4 meetings we have are catered.
And we've got an allocation for expert guest speakers. So if we want to kind of change it around a little bit, have somebody new come in, someone fresh, we've got some money to get people in for that.
And we haven't used that to date because we've found there's been a wealth of information, as you can imagine, on campus. So we've just drawn from that, and particularly from the HR department, we found it quite useful to have a good working relationship with them and have them come in and help build the training programs. And that's all at no cost. So you can do this sort of thing quite cheaply, as long as, I think the key thing is having someone associated with keeping it going and making those connections across the campus and finding who you can draw knowledge from to develop the programs. You don't necessarily need to have a small grants scheme. We do, because we find it that our SRM members really enjoy it. But, are there any other questions? I'll just so you know how to get to our sustainability pages. Don't worry about the URL at the top there. If you just put in mq.edu.au/sustainability, you'll actually get to our pages. And then under Get Involved, that's where the SRN sits here. So once you're in the home page, it's not hard. Get Involved, SRN, right here. So yes, don't worry about that URL. Just www.mq.edu.au/sustainability will get you to our homepage. So you can go in and have a look at all the different things that Cindy's been putting onto the SRN website there. And as you can see here, there's a video on the landing page for the SRN website. Cindy just goes out and talks to SRN members, just gets their feedback. They're just short playlists to kind of keep momentum going and let other people see the value of the program itself. I think one thing that we have found is Macquarie is a fairly disconnected university. I don't think we're the only disconnected university that exists. It obviously works in a lot of silos, And we have had really good feedback from the executive and elsewhere on campus saying that the SRN and our Department Sustainability Challenge have been excellent ways to start breaking down silos and getting departments talking to each other and getting motivated about the community again, because there was a real disconnect in our community and with the university. So we've had excellent feedback that it's provided that opportunity to come back and build a community spirit for the university. Are there any other questions at all? We've recorded this session, so Rhiannon is going to play with it a bit, and it'll go up on our YouTube site, and she'll let you all know where that is on the YouTube site. So if you did want to go back and listen to it again, you can. If for any reason you have any questions, no problem. Thank you, Paula. If for any reason you have any questions after the fact, please feel free to contact Cindy. Her details are there again and on the website. So if you didn't get them from the slide, she's easily accessible on the website as well. It'd be great to hear from some of you as well as to what initiatives you've got going and what's worked and maybe what hasn't worked, and how other people might be able to help you with suggestions and what hasn't worked. You can always use the ACTS Facebook page to ask those questions and put it out there to the community, or even the ACTS forum on the ACTS website if you're an ACTS member. So thank you all. A big thanks to Cindy for putting that together for us and sharing that with all of you. Hopefully you've enjoyed the session today and you've been able to get something useful out of it. Wish you all the best in continuing your own endeavours in this area. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.